Aloha, y'all, from La Fortuna, Costa Rica. I'll be here for trace months. And check out my view. That is a volcano. Arenal volcano in the mountain range. I'm helping out a friend from the podcast renovate his house and do some other stuffs. So I have certain amounts of cards. Rabbit for the record, March 1st, 2022, first of the month. Gotta get that kick up, wake up. Getting back in the groove of things. I'm gonna be doing card jams, but I don't have my instruments downstairs right now, so not today. I won't be jamming. But let's go for it. I don't have all the card decks I used to have. I have some new ones you've never seen before, possibly. And I'm trying to get into a groove of things. So let's just do it. The sun is in Pisces. The moon is in Aquarius. Mercury is also in Aquarius. Venus and Mars are conjunct in Capricorn. Jupiter's in Pisces, conjunct the sun. Saturn is in Aquarius, conjunct Mercury. Uranus is in Taurus. Neptune's in Pisces. Pluto's in Capricorn, conjunct Venus and Mars. And the North Node is in Taurus with in retrograde, but that's what's going on. It's been so long since I've done this. I think the last time I did this, the North Node was in Gemini. So we're on North Node Taurus, which is my natal North Node. And today's chakra is the Swatistana Chakra. Take a gander at that. Charge up your sacral chakra or your Swatistana Chakra. This is in your lower abdomen, right? Keywords are happiness, confidence, and resourcefulness. Positive traits are sociability, creativity, joyousness, and independence. Negative traits are being withdrawn, destructive, despondent, and over-dependent. The mantra is VAM, V-A-M. The spiritual activities are meditation, celibacy, and fasting. Crystals are tiger's eye, carnelian, and onyx. And the soul lesson is peace and wisdom, right? This is your creative, generative force, the testes and the ovaries, that kind of area of the body. So let's go ahead and pull a card. I do have, like I said, some decks are the same, some decks won't be the same. You get to spot the difference. So let's see what wants to pop today. My hands are real sticky with the humidity. I can't imagine maybe tarot cards are a Northern Hemisphere thing. It's funny that this comes up because I've been having some intense dreams. I've been here for 3 nights. The first night was about Kai Pacha and his wife having marital issues. He's an astrologer who's been on the podcast, who lives in Costa Rica, and snakes. I forget 2 nights ago, but it was intense. And then last night was about China invading all these third world countries and just weird shit. We got the 9 of Swords, is why I said it's ironic. Putting our creative energy not to good use in the subconscious realms. The Swords are your mind, so if you're a Gemini, a Libra, or an Aquarius, you're naturally going to resonate with this. The 9 of Swords is about investigating your psychological turmoil, questioning your fears, understanding where they come from, nightmares and illusions, knowing you are not alone in this feeling. You are not alone. Everybody has bad dreams and weird visions sometimes. 9 of Swords, I perceive danger everywhere. And apparently there's a lot of spiders and snakes that are poisonous out here, so I gotta be careful. As well as beautiful birds, toucans, iguanas, all that kind of stuff. There are times in our lives when we have a deeply distressing experience which totally sharks our system, leaving us ungrounded, raw, frightened, and vulnerable to stressful feelings of pervasive threat. These feelings are compounded and easily triggered if we are on edge as a child, catalyzed by an environment of insensitivity and threatening behavior from major caregivers or role models. The 9 of Swords depicts a naked woman kneeling, hands clutching her head in terrible anguish. A dark, eerie, and ghoulish atmosphere pervades. Large spiders crawl threateningly over her body, and a poisonous snakes and spiders, I just said that, coils itself around her arm. The carcass of an ancient tree hovers above her, its branches contorting into the evil faces of witches. It's a menacing organic phantasm. Danger is everywhere, lurking in the shadows. The Swiss psychoanalyst Carl Jung drew attention to the, quote, shadow, the part of ourselves which is disowned, hidden from conscious awareness. It stores the imprint of frightening and unacceptable experiences. These imprints get released from the unconscious into the content of our dreams at night, creating wild, bewildering nightmares which elicit fear, terror, anxiety, disgust, guilt, shame, despair, sadness, all symbolic manifestations of the shadow. He proposed the unconscious mind had a second additional component not shaped by personal experience. This is known as the collective unconscious, the reservoir of material we all inherit as a tribe, nation, and world being. It contains archetypal images with universal meanings, such as those depicted in brilliant storytelling, mythology, and of course, the art, and of course, the tarot. According to evolutionary psychology, these archetypes relate to the natural instincts for survival, procreation, food, and shelter. Jung used dreams as a powerful way of acquainting ourselves with both the personal and collective unconscious. They can facilitate the process of integration, bring all the parts of ourselves into equal relationship with one another, rather than remaining denied, conflicted, and compartmentalized. The Knight of Swords suggests to examine your psychological suffering, its mechanisms, and the projection of the internal state into dreams, and then onto people and events in the outside world. Face up to your fears by questioning if they are really true. Challenge any shameful feelings around sex and desire, success and worthiness. Understand that everyone has fearful, disempowering thoughts and fantasies. This is an amazing opportunity to clear the lineage of beliefs that have been handed down through generations, right? So investigating your psychological turmoil, questioning your fears, understanding where it comes from, nightmares and illusions, knowing you are not alone in that feeling. So I've got to kind of do a little organization differentiation. Clarifier we'll get. I brought my super old, one of my first decks, my Spirit Tarot deck for this. I brought a lot of decks, but I brought a lot of things. So I could only bring so many things to Costa Rica. And actually, I've got presently plans, potentially, to go to Honolulu after this. I've got a one-way ticket for $100. Not guaranteed that I'll be going. I'm given a few things, but we shall see. We got the Empress as the clarifier, and this is not a fun, like, oh, let's sit in the garden and have fun. It's like Kali. Beautiful art. I love it. Very comic book Halloween-y art. But what are we doing? We're destroying and grounding and re-beautifying, I guess, re-establishing dominance in a very beautiful, artistic way of our subconscious and our fears. That's how we should be moving through this, right? We shouldn't just be like, oh my God, how do I get through this? I'm such a train wreck. I don't know what to do. It's more like, hey, I'm the boss here, and I'm going to take all the stuff in my head that I don't want to deal with, all this subconscious head trauma, and put it underneath, get it behind me, and blossom like a flower in the background. The mandala, it almost looks like, hey, guess what? The Swatistana Chakra. It's a multi-petaled lotus flower kind of thing. So anyway, the Empress card is a very Taurine card. It's about fecundity, creativity, birthing processes of creativity. It's the curvy woman in the garden sipping wine saying, I got this. So, and welcome to my world. And I'm in a very green, verdant place. So much life. You can hear the birds. So much animal life, so much insect life, so much life. And it's even not the dry season, but it's wet and moist, and it's not even the rainy season. So life has a way of finding its way, and that kind of generative force creates beauty. But that's what's happening in our minds when we're seeing all this crazy symbology. It's our mind trying to like branch out through its own neural networks and trauma and karma and all sorts of things to deal with creating the best present state possible. And it doesn't always feel that way, right? It's always darkest before the dawn, as they say, which is only semi-true because it gets pretty light pretty quick before dawn. But anyway, 3 in the morning, 4 in the morning, it can be very cold, very damp here, very kind of scary potentially, but that doesn't mean we don't have the power within us and the power of beauty outside of us, friendship, love, relationships, things that inspire us to cause us to take head on that which disempowers us in the subconscious world and that which we project our fears onto. Like I said, I just dreamt about China taking over the world. I'm not even paying attention to the news. Hopefully they're not. Hopefully I'm not just picking up on Pisces, Sun, Neptune and Pisces psychic mode. In any event, that's the clarifier. Let me get an animal oracle card. You guys have seen this before. Stacey DeMarco has been on the podcast. She's great. Get her back on the podcast. I got 1 or 2 decks here. Well, I guess that spirit deck is newer for y'all. New in the lineup, but it's not new to me. I got 1 deck here, another deck that's newer. I've used it on full new moons. Maybe I won't even use it. I'm debating. Truth, the Jackal. I was like, did I not bring my booklet? I just held up the booklet. Number 44. It's the last card in the deck, actually. So hopefully it's the end of illusions and delusions, the end of nightmares, with the power of the Empress coming in. Like that was Kali, kind of hardcore imagery. This is Anubis, hardcore imagery. So just because it's magic doesn't mean it can't have an edge, right? Jackal, 44, truth. Authenticity is important. Live your truth fearlessly. Someone around you is not telling you the truth. Do not fear what you cannot control. We will all leave a legacy, so you should consider what this might be for you. Death is part of life. The mythos. The majestic jackal-headed god Anubis stands next to the embalmer. He guides the embalmer's hands so they can perform the correct actions, and listens in satisfaction as the proper incantations are made. Infinitely gentle, Anubis takes great care of the tender new souls who have passed on to the next world, the afterlife. He travels with them, reassuring them, making them comfortable on this surprising journey, and taking them to the goddess Mat, she who is law, right? The law of what? Law of the land, law of the subconscious, the goddess Mat, Kali in this one. Sounds like someone's mowing a lawn right next to me. I'm just getting used to the rhythms of this area. Oh no, it's not. It's someone driving an ATV. Local transport. So, taking them to the goddess Mat, she who is law. It is she who will weigh their souls against the lightness of a feather. And it is she who will determine whether these souls will live forever. Anubis will record this in the great book of the dead. To our eyes, Anubis looks fearsome, right? 9 of Swords, like, oh my gosh, this is a nightmare animal. I don't want to meet this guy. And I actually met something like this on DMT the first time I did it. But this is not the truth. Jackals did move among graveyards and clear the dead, but this jackal hopes that the person has lived a truthful and good life, so they get to experience the afterlife. Just the afterlife. Or just an afterlife? It's an Arcade Fire song in my head. The alternative is that they get eaten by Amut, the devourer of souls. That is some 9 of Swords shit. You could get eaten by that. When the cult, or destroyed by the Kali energy, right? That's the equivalent, I guess. When the cult of the god Osiris grew stronger in later Middle Kingdom, Osiris took over many of Anubis' jobs as caretaker and protector of the dead. Thereafter, Anubis' myth became more focused on specific embalming methods and mummification processes. The care and effectiveness in which mummification process was enacted is still a marvel today. The priests of the funerary rites would place a sacred mask of Anubis upon their faces when conducting the mummification, and thus the dead person became the god himself. Zing Zhao. It's kind of like the mask from Jim Carrey. There are 3 special, this is about the animal, there are 3 special species, of jackal, all of which are members of the canine family. The golden jackal, the side-striped jackal, and the black-backed jackal. They are omnivores that are opportunistic both in hunting and scavenging, which is where the reputation for being around graveyards or sites of war comes from, as jackals will come for the dead and consume them. Right? Consuming the dead. Causing the dead. Nightmare stuff. 9 of Swords. Jackals have large territories and are endurance animals, quite able to travel over long distances in hot temperatures without breaks. They do not form large packs and are most often solitary. Although, and I think I was saying the moon is in Aquarius, that's kind of that energy. Mercury in Aquarius, Saturn in Aquarius, kind of the lone wolf who works with others well, but, does their own thing. They do not form large packs and are most often solitary, although hunting pairs are common. Mortality for jackal pups is high, and to protect her babies, a jackal mother will often move her pups to a new den every few weeks. This is on page 176. My birthday is 6/17, like I've said before, and that just anytime that pops, it resonates for me. The magic. Sometimes we need a big dose of truth in our lives, which is where jackal energy is a positive force. Even when finding out truths of a situation means pain, right? The pain of transformation, the pain of new birth in the Empress, which is kind of maybe the negative shadow side of it, but the pain of facing your fears, 9 of Swords. Even if it means pain, it is better to know the truth, and jackal energy can be a comfort. Also call upon this energy when you or others are affected by death. Allow yourself to know that the person who has died has a soul that is being carefully protected and watched over. Symbology is a jackal-headed man with a flail and pointed ears. Status, all jackals are listed as of least concern, because there's a whole lot of them. But yeah, we're getting the truth. We're seeing underneath the rocks and seeing all the creepy crawlies. And hopefully we're feeling empowered in such a way as to seek the highest good for all. Like, see it for what it is, as opposed to creating more illusions and delusions and just fabrication, stories, dramas, all that in our own minds, which can happen. I was going to pull and make the sacred, whatever, I guess I could do this. I was going to pull one of these, but I think I'm going to just save it for the new moons and full moons. Even now I'm just editing it. So one less card deck. It'll be 4 instead of 5, I guess, life. But stay tuned for new and full moon readings. It's not really a reading. It's just kind of a ritual I used to do, and I'll do again here with the Alex Gray deck. Really powerful art, as you could see. Really good stuff. It's a Sacred Mirrors deck I got in Australia. So let's get a crystal. What wants to pop? We've got Herkimer Diamond as the stone / crystal. You can quantumly entangle with this, as that is the law of reality in this matrix. Herkimer Diamond. What it is? Herkimer diamonds are not, in fact, diamonds, right? It's not the what? Truth. We're being told, ironically, give your wife or give the love of your life a diamond. That's not necessarily true. Like, diamonds aren't as rare as you'd think. It's a De Beers company marketing scam. But this is, falsehoods and illusions and delusions and nightmares. The delusion is this isn't actually a diamond. It's more of a quartz, right? They are far more attainable, extra hard, clear quartz beauties with their own alluring energetic properties. Found in New York's Mohawk Valley, and on the podcast we've actually had a Mohawk tribe member on, so way up there in the northeast. Found in New York's Mohawk Valley, the clarity and 2 naturally faceted ends, i.e. double termination, of Herkimers earned the term diamond as their moniker. Who needs it? Reiki masters. This is very Pisces, Neptune, Sun. Reiki masters, travelers on the spiritual path, highly sensitive people. Where to put it? In spaces you want to zone as sacred, right? Things you want to define. The Empress defines her turf and says, spiders weave not their webs here. That's kind of an allusion to the Bohemian Grove. But yeah, she's creating her turf. She's saying, no, none of that shit, and I'm only going to let what I want in my space, my circle, my square. Squaring off my circle. In spaces you want to zone as sacred. When to use it? When you're reaching for clearer than ever through spirituality. Very moon in Aquarius, Mercury in Aquarius with Sun and Neptune in Pisces, right? Where it's like, I want to be spiritual, but I want to do this methodically in a sense. Through spirituality, therapy, or healing work, brush off all those unwanted vibes, 9 of Swords, with the Herkimer Diamond. Power wash your energy, right? So what we're being told today, my kids are getting on the bus now. I actually went to the river with 2 of these, like a 11 and 12-year-old brother and sister. Hermana e hermano, vice versa. The other day, that's why I got a little son. But yeah, just trying to get to the rhythm here. How do you power wash your energy? How do you get rid of the cobwebs? Through love, ultimately, the Empress, right? We don't have to, and truth, love and truth. Love, truth, and beauty. It's kind of the triumvirate of the Greek thinking. It's like, what is true? What is beautiful? What is true, beautiful, and good? I'm saying love, because I think love is the highest good. What isn't love, in a sense? But we're having to power wash our energy with the Herkimer Diamond. I guess that does it. I'm looking at all the cards. I don't have a guitar. I don't have a song to play. Maybe go check out Afterlife by Arcade Fire. Maybe I'll just make a suggestion. It's a good song off of the Reflector album, I believe, but I'm not even 100% sure on that now that I think about it. Probably off of Reflector. So yeah, I hope you have a beautiful day. We'll get back on the horse tomorrow a little better, maybe with a guitar. She's got an acoustic guitar that's really not that great. That I might play. I've got my electric, but the little speaker or the amp that they're letting me borrow is shit. So I tried to bring mine, but I had to actually bring our security cameras and like 20 bags of protein and all sorts of stuff. All these cards. I didn't have much room. So on this beautiful first day of the month, on this Tuesday, Tears Day, ruled by Tyr, basically named after the Nordic equivalent of Mars, tap into your Swatistana, your creativity, shake out those cobwebs, right? Shake out those fears, approach it with love and power, and in truth, power wash your energy with Herkimer Diamond. And that's all I got to say about that. Check out the Team Rabbit Hole podcast. We have been doing it for a while. The last guest, I believe, one of the last guests was Jamie Kato. He did a documentary on Ram Dass that's amazing called Becoming Nobody. Check that documentary out, well worth it. And apparently he was like a founding member of some big British band, and he used to hang and frolic in the Highlands of Scotland with Richard Rudd, the Gene Keys writer, author. He's also been in the podcast, and we had talked about that, the Highland experience or whatever, boot camp. Jamie was with him. So, Team Rabbit Hole, we out here on Costa Rica. We're doing our thing. Hit me up for readings if you want. I've got cards, and I could do your chart. So, $33 for cards, an hour of cards. $88 for about 3 or 4 hours of astrology, and a $111 for both. And you're spending a whole afternoon with me, or evening, or whenever we can align that. And ultimately, guys, seize the day. We're in a dream. We're walking on a dream, as Empire of the Sun would say. And it's a beautiful thing to be alive and to be functioning in the dream. Try to be conscious. Try to get rid of that which holds you back subconsciously. Step into your power. Destroy the illusions. Step into the truth, even if it hurts. And power wash your energy. All your chakras. Especially today, your Swatistana Chakra, your creative chakra. Get those juices flowing. Make it work. Make it work for you. So hopefully that helps and resonates. Tag people in this if you think they could benefit from it. Like I said, I'm just kind of working out the details of the flow of this, so we'll get it locked in. It is what it is. Holler for readings. Check out the podcast, and I hope you have a beautiful day. Adios.